Okay.
All right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon or good morning if you're on the West Coast. Thank you for joining us from all over the Americas. Buenas tardes, boa tarde. I have the chance today to have Annick Bélanger, the owner of Sweet Bocas private island in the Caribbean side of Panama. So the chance also is Annick is going to be live, of course, and showing us her beautiful property herself by walking through the resort. Huh? So Annick,
yeah, I'll try to do, as I was saying originally in the conversation, I'll try to do my best to show as much as I can, because we have clients who came back a little earlier than planned from their excursion. So I'll try to sneak myself into the house and see, how far I can take you. But we can start here with a structure that we have that's very, very close from the main villa, which is where our infinity pool is. And the structure next to it is a gym that's fully equipped with techno gym equipment.
We lost you.
And right next to it is our massage spa.
Annick, lost you. I don't know. Unless
which we have a massage. Can you hear me? Yeah. I don't know.
No, we had lost you.
Okay.
Okay.
So I have to I don't know why I'm on 3G. I'm not even on Wi-Fi, but there's been a little bit of issues with the internet, around the archipelago. So this is our infinity pool. I don't know what you heard or not, but this is our gym right here, all equipped with techno gym equipment. And next to the gym is our lounging spa area. We have a masseuse on site, so she's available 24/7 for people who would like massages. And so just to situate yourself a little bit, the main villa is right here. So it's literally a 30-second scroll. I mean, I'm walking very slowly so that you guys can enjoy the view, but when you're walking at a normal, regular pace, it's a 30-second scroll away from the main villa. The villa is a 20,000 square foot home. It's got 7 bedrooms. They all have king-size beds and all in-suite bathrooms. The rooms are all very big. We can accommodate, just to give you an idea, on the biggest multi-generational family we've had here so far, we're 16 adults and 17 children from ages 18 months old to 17 years old. So for the ones who are somewhat worried, because we've been getting requests over the years about not having some kind of protection around the deck of the house for toddlers and for kids, we've had many toddlers and many kids here. Knock on wood, because there's a lot of wood to knock on. There's never been an accident here. People either come with their nannies, or if they don't, there's always the staff and plenty of people with eyes around. The deck is about 40 feet wide from the inside of the house to the end, falling into the ocean. And so it takes quite some time for a child, even if they're very quick and very fast. It takes, there's enough time for someone to grab the child if anything happens. We have 2 ways of securing. We can put life vests on babies or children, young children, from the minute they wake up until the minute they go to bed. We also have these play parks that we install. We have 3 big play parks, and kids can go in there and can play either inside the house or outside, put some umbrellas and stuff so they have shade and everything like that. So there's no issues as far as security is concerned.
Plus, great stuff, Annick, always looking at. So if somebody would fall in the water, yes, they would jump first, huh? Because they're always
correct. Correct. I would jump first. I'm here 24/7 when the client is here. The client sees me as often or as little as he wants, but I'm always here pulling the strings backstage, making sure that everybody's doing what it is they need to do. If I were the one who had to jump in the water, I would. So there's absolutely no issues. In this spot here, it's a new addition. We have a giant screen that pops out of the ocean so that you can have movie night under the stars. People kind of lay down here on the trampoline with all the mattresses, and it's a wonderful experience. It's like a huge hit. We had a family here in April who came to surf for 10 days, and they had movie night every single night of their stay. They loved it so much. So this is the deck of the house. It's a 360-degree view. We sit on a coral reef. The archipelago is recognized as one of the most beautiful ones by UNESCO in the world. So as I was saying earlier, the biodiversity here that you'll find in the archipelago is quite phenomenal, for the only reason being that it's very pristine and it's very untouched. Unlike the Costa Rican government, the Panamanian government has not promoted Panama as a country to come and visit. So everything is very virgin, everything is very untouched, everything is very pristine. So when you come around the archipelago, and as I was saying earlier as well, you can be here for a month and a half and do a different activity and a different excursion daily without repeating it twice. So this is how much the archipelago has to offer. So you see a little bit of...
I like to say that
Sorry?
I've been there 5 times. The water is always flat and always calm. This is amazing.
Yes, absolutely. This is how you see it. There are no waves. We are in a bay. You're on the Caribbean side of the country here as well. So it's very, very quiet. You don't have any sharks. You don't have any crocodiles. You don't have any snakes. You don't have any kind of like stuff that you should be worried and concerned about. You see these buoys here in front of the house. So anything inside there protects any child or any adult who wants to swim. There ain't that many boats passing by, but for the very few that are, it's a very nice protecting area so that people can swim inside it. You see a little bit of a bay right here. And so when you enter into it, you can do lots of paddleboarding and kayaking, and we have a Boston whaler, so you can water ski, you can wakeboard, you can do some tubing and some subwinging. I mean, it's like we have all these toys that people can use. And this is a bit of the house. Upstairs, you have all the balconies. These tarps are closed right now because it was raining last night, so we turned them down. Gonna bring them back up just like we did here.
We don't have the sofa as well, huh? Because usually you have all the cushion.
Yes, we have all the cushions. It's because the client left on an excursion all morning, so we're going to put them in this afternoon because they're having lunch soon, and then this afternoon all the cushions are going to be on these day beds. These are very popular. People love to lounge and relax in here. I'll show you a little bit inside the house. You see these hammocks here. There's quite a few of them around the house that people can kind of like relax and enjoy and either take a nap or be on their phones or their computer or laptop or whatever. This is more of a social area that people can come again and relax and read a book or do anything they wish.
So Susie is asking at the same time how many bedroom and bathroom. So 6 bedroom upstairs. The TV room is number 7, and you basically have 7 bathroom plus
yes.
You have a smaller bathroom near the laundry area. Huh? Voilà.
Correct. Yes, that's a service bathroom. So this is, I'm going to try to just let me be on the other side so that you don't have the light facing you. This is a better angle. This is the dining room of the house. I made it very colorful because I wanted it to be very user-friendly for kids. I didn't want parents to start freaking out about, putting stains everywhere on anything and everything that was white or beige or whatever it is, because we're very, very popular with multi-gen families. I was also raised in Africa, so color was very important to me. I needed things to be very lively and very interesting. And this is kind of like the kitchen area. It's all open space. I will bring you, when we go over to the island, to the prep kitchen where all the magic happens as far as food and everything else is concerned. There's a preparation kitchen where they get everything ready there, and then they come here for the finalization and the final show of the meals. And obviously, like many of us, everybody's interested in food. So they ask Wilmo questions and they see what he does, and are very often interested in wanting to have a cooking class with him. He's very, very talented. He's a 28-year-old Ecuadorian chef, and he's very creative, and he does anything and everything. He's gotten, just like some of your clients who've eaten everywhere around the world, standing ovations by clients who've been here. The food is phenomenal. I mean, I believe there's a lot of many beautiful places in this world, but I think that if you have a nice gastronomical experience, chances are you'll talk about it a lot more than if you if you don't. So I used to own restaurants. So the F&B is very, very important for me. And here they are. They're coming to serve lunch to the client now. So I'm going to walk down the dock once they come, and I'll take you over to the island a little bit.
I wanted to say that your chef, you remember, you did an Indian dinner, and I even thought you flew in an Indian chef for our dinner for the farm trip. And then another time somebody said, "Can you cook Italian?" And he surprised me. Pizza, everything, and, amazing. So it's very versatile. Huh?
Very much. I mean, whether it's Asian or whether, I mean, it's very healthy. You know, if you want to have junk food, he'll cook you the best junk food you've ever had. But basically, pretty much the menu and the directive line of who we are here is a very healthy organic eating, because we are practically almost self-sustainable except for the meats and for the dairy products, because we can't raise cows in a tropical jungle. But we have our own chickens and eggs, and we have all of our vegetable gardens and our fruit forest, and we cultivate our fish and seafood. And if we don't have enough, the fishermen bring us their catches of the day and stuff. So it is really, really a farm to table concept. And the meats we import from Argentina and Colombia, and the dairies we get depending on what it is we need. It's either milk or yogurt or cheese, basically, because other than that, we have everything else. So Wilmo actually makes his own yogurt as well. So, but if someone wants something very specific, you work with me on the F&B and every single little detail prior to your client's arrival. This is the prep kitchen here, just very quickly for you to see. So you work with me on all the details prior to the client's arrival. It's like chartering a yacht. We don't have the luxury of having a corner store around to get something that we're missing. So we really have to get to know your client very, very well on his F&B and on anything and everything he needs and wants prior to his arrival. Otherwise, we might get into a little trouble depending on what it is that, you know, we need to get. But this is a private deserted island. You are 10 minutes away from civilization, but when you get here, you truly feel like you're in a no man's land. It's really, really, really the best of both worlds. So here,
just to remind everyone how to get to Sweet Bocas, would you like to explain that a little bit?
Yes, 95% of our clients so far in 7.5 years being operational have gotten here private. We have an international airport here, which is literally 10 minutes away from the property with a boat right away. And so they fly in private. The biggest jet we can accommodate is a Gulfstream 5. Anything bigger has to land in Panama City.
In Panama City. Mm-hmm.
And from Panama City, we charter to Bocas. It's a 40 Panama City. And then from Panama City, we charter Panama City Bocas, which is, again, 45-minute, 50-minute flight. It's the same with San Jose. If you want to land in San Jose, you're in Costa Rica, over, we charter to pick, it's the 45, 50 minutes. So here, the story about the island, it's a 15-acre island, which was a complete swamp when we first started the project. You had mud all the way to your thighs. It was barely impossible to walk, to find some beautiful coral and some fantastic rich black soil, which we basically brought on top and earthworks to end up with a 15-acre island. And this is a pond that we man-made, that we built ourselves, where we cultivate all of our fish and seafood. 8 years ago next month, this was still a construction site, just so it gives you an idea of how fast things grow here.
Yep.
Now we're having good problems. Things are growing too fast and real fast.
Yeah, but it's incredible. Huh? So everything's coming from the farm, from the ocean.
And retransplant and prune.
Oh,
Yes, you see bay that we're in, and it's the Caribbean Ocean. It was 8 years ago next month.
mhm.
And so we basically created the whole thing, and we obviously worked on the fundamentals and basics of permaculture. We re-cleaned, I mean, not re, but we cleaned up the entire ecosystem around us. All these mangroves that you see here were all dirty and very gross, and we cleaned everything up. You know that you can't touch any of this. The government is very, very protective of mangroves because they're in their instinct species, and they protect the ecosystem very, very well. So we built all the earthworks around these mangroves. We didn't have a septic system here. We had no electricity. We brought in a cable and connected ourselves to electricity in town. There was nothing here. So what I'm walking on now was non-existent like 10 years ago when we first came and started this project. So it's been, like we were saying before, Dominique, a big, huge labor of love and passion and naivety in some way, in a big way. But it's been this is the guest house right here. There's a guest house which has 4 bedrooms, 2 rooms upstairs, rooms downstairs, which we offer to some clients who have big groups and who don't have enough of 7 bedrooms. It's very quaint, it's very comfortable, it's got all the same amenities as the villa does. It's got air conditioning and Wi-Fi and everything. So we have 400 Mbps for Wi-Fi here, just in case you're wondering. We have a lot of people who Wi-Fi is very important these days. So there's no issues all around the property. There's Wi-Fi everywhere. So here, just to give you a little bit of a preview, on the other side of the property, this is a lake that we also built ourselves. It's freshwater. It's the second biggest lake in the entire archipelago after the national park in Bastimentos. You see this kind of house parked in on the other side of the lake, which is a floating pontoon that we have, which is all candle lit at night because we can't have electricity there. So people have cocktails and snacks, and then we park the pontoon and they walk over to our pergola, which literally is a 15-second walk, and enjoy a very beautiful alfresco dining that Wilmo makes with the big green egg with some parillas and anything and everything that suits your fancy. So and on the island, and I can't walk all the way to the other side because it takes like 15 minutes alone, but on the island, there's also a whole structure with a prep kitchen, with a dining room, with a living room area, with sofas and cushions and fire.
And dancing floor.
Where we have a lot of celebrations on special, sorry?
And dancing floor.
We have a lot of celebrations on, yeah. Because a lot of people come here to celebrate milestone birthdays or anniversaries of some sort, or just to want to be together and enjoy each other. So we always have an evening there, and people are just always, it's very Moroccanish. It's got all these candles and all these beautiful lamps that I brought back from Morocco. And it's a very, you can be here for a week and eat literally in like 4 or 5 different areas that are not the villa. And at the villa, you can eat, all around the deck. We've had some clients who've asked us to move the dining room tables around the deck so that they can have different views and different perspectives of the house and of the property and around. So you can be eating in different places here for a week or 10 days, and you'll never be in the same spot. And that's who we are. That's what we try to do. We don't claim to be better than anybody by all means, but we are very different. I created this place because I think it doesn't matter who you are and what you do and how much money you have. I think it's important to just be. I think it's important to find yourself somewhere in a place with people you love that you just want to connect or disconnect with, or do whatever it is that you feel like you want to do, but you just be. And that's who we are. You can come down to this beautiful dining room that I showed you wearing a pair of shorts and a t-shirt and some flip-flops, and nobody cares. It's like, this is what people are so flabbergasted about this place. You can be here for a week or 10 days or whatever time you want and not wash your hair, and no one's going to care. It's like, this is, for me, I think that's what luxury is. I think it's all about authenticity. and nothing else. And so this is who we are. This is what we do for people. We deal with a lot of people that are part of the 1% of the world who change history, who you hear about or read about in the news daily. And they get here and they're amazed how they can just be. And nobody cares. Everybody treats them the same. Our staff is, incredible people. It doesn't matter who you are. They'll take you by the hand, they'll take care of you, and they'll make you live experiences that you've never lived before. Or just being here is a place where there's something about the archipelago. It's not just about Sweet Bocas, because when I first got here and Sweet Bocas didn't even exist, there's something about this place that's just very peaceful. It brings you like some inner peace of some sort. And it's just amazing. So with everything that Sweet Bocas has to offer, I mean, obviously it makes it even better. But it's the place. It's the archipelago. It's the people, the staff here. You can get to interact with the Indigenous community that we have here. We've been in quarantine here, all of us, all 27 of us, for over a year now. There's really little community of people here, with children, and and you can get to interact with them as well. I mean, it's like you really feel the social responsibility that we have here and the community that we have here, and it's great. It's a very different experience.
Anik, to conclude on the webinar, can you tell us a little bit about the activities?
Yes, I mean, where to start? I mean, we've got some of the best surfing in the world here. For people who are interested, I would say that 50% of our clientele so far in the last 7.5 years have been surfers. We have a ton of reefs, from very beginners, people who've never surfed before, to very, very advanced or pro. And then you've got all the scuba diving and the snorkeling. I mean, you've got some of the best snorkeling underneath the house right here, because we're sitting on a coral reef. There's a ton of hiking, there's a ton of biking and horseback riding, there's a ton of excursions if you're into culture and if you're into history with the Indigenous community and all that. We have a ton of excursions there. And then we have all the toys. Obviously, we have a Boston whaler, so there's water skiing and wakeboarding and tubing and subwinging and anything and everything you could possibly imagine as far as water toys are concerned. But there's a lot, like I was saying earlier, and I don't think this was registered, but you can be here for a month and a half and do an activity every day for a month and a half and not repeat an activity twice. And this is not including all the toys that we have here when you want to water ski or wakeboard or all this kind of stuff. So we have plenty of activity to do. And for some who are totally inactive and don't want to have anything to do with anything, they can do that too. They can hang out in the hammocks, they can hang out in all the social areas that we have, and they can just eat some amazing food and some incredible drinks and have a good time. It's whatever the client wants. It's whatever the people feel like doing. There's a bit of everything.
Susie has a question related to the entry in Panama. It's not only for vaccinated people, it's just everyone with a antigen or PCR test. And you, for the island, what do you request, Anik?
We request a PCR. We do not accept antigen. The country does, but Sweet Bocas doesn't. We've been in quarantine, like I was saying, for over a year here with our entire staff, and we can't take the chance because antigen, like everybody knows, is not 100% guaranteed. PCRs are. So we demand a PCR. It's 48 hours prior to arrival. Okay. Is what the country requires.
Even if the clients are vaccinated, you still need the PCR?
I still need a PCR. Yes, absolutely. It's going to be like that for a little while because, as we know, and from what the information I'm reading, is that it doesn't mean that you're vaccinated that you're not going to get the virus. You're just going to have minor symptoms, or it can affect you less, but it doesn't mean that you can't transmit it or that you can't get it. So for now, until we get vaccinated, because the vaccines are not accessible to everybody in Panama until probably August. We're doing very, very well, however. There's 1 million people that have been vaccinated so far on a 4.5 million people country. And the government has bought 3.5 million doses, double doses. So we should reach herd immunity according to people here by the end of this year. But until we're all vaccinated, we require a PCR even if people have been vaccinated. Yes, absolutely.
All right. I don't
Absolutely.
have any other question. I don't know if anyone has any before we leave Annick in her paradise, which is not bad. Huh?
And the weather, just so you know, the weather is 365 days a year, exactly like you're seeing right now. It was raining this morning from 6:30 to 7:30. If it rains for about an hour, it drizzles, and then it just kind of like moves over, and it's this beautiful weather. If not, it's going to be in the afternoon if it gets a little overcast or something, rather, or whatever, but it's never pouring rain all day long for days on end here. It's like it's the tropics. So, and even if it rains, it'll drizzle and it won't stop you from doing whatever activity it is that you want to do. So there's no low season, high season. I mean, it's like it's probably about 100 right now. It's like I'm like sweating standing in the sun here with you. But it doesn't, the evenings don't get any lower than 80. I mean, it's like, the weather here is between 85, 90 to 100 daily, and the evenings don't get cooler than 80. If they go to 75, it's probably about 2 or 3 times a year, and it's very rare. So this is how calm the ocean is all the time, and it's very clear, very, very transparent, very clear water.
Annick, you have two sides. On one side of the villa, you can actually walk, and the other side, you just can dive.
Yes.
So, which is amazing.
Correct. Correct. On the front. Yeah, absolutely. You can see the staircase on the right-hand side here because you're only about 3 or 4 feet deep on each side of the house. But in the front, it's like literally 30 feet because you're literally at the end of the reef. So if you dive off the deck in front of the house, there's absolutely no issues.
No, that's very nice. When we were mentioning surfing, especially because we said it's always flat, the surfing is a lot further away, 10, 20 minutes from
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, very good point. Very, very good point. There are plenty of reefs that are as close as 10 minutes away and as far as an hour away from here. But yes, the reefs do have waves and many big ones for that. But yes, we take you by boat, and that's all included in the rental price. All the boats, all the fuel, all the captains, everything. It's basically an all in. You've got all the alcohol, the basic alcohol, the house wines, the national beers, all of it. The only thing that's not included is 10% tourism tax and 10% surcharge. And obviously any kind of special requests that people ask for premium alcohol or whatever else that they have to pay for, obviously. But yes, very good for surfing. And there are plenty. I mean, there are beach reefs, which are very, very rare to find in many countries where you can surf for beginners, which is fantastic. But yeah, it's here. There's no waves ever. It's like very, very quiet,
and
very safe, very
beautiful beach to go to. 20, 15 to 30 minutes.
Yes, we have plenty.
Beach.
Yeah, there's beaches as close. Yeah, there's beaches as close as 10 minutes. And again, as far as like an hour or two, I mean, we're taking clients tomorrow to a place called Kusapin, which is one of the best places in the archipelago. It's an hour and a half boat ride right there. The beaches are, I mean, phenomenal. But we have some beaches that are closer. There's over 300 and somewhat islands in this archipelago, which are all deserted. And so we can take people to many, many beaches with a picnic. Wilmo goes on the beach at lunch and cooks a parrilla or whatever, or we can bring you a picnic. I mean, it's whatever the client wants. We bring volleyballs, we bring hammocks, we bring a whole thing so that people can spend an entire day. But the beaches are also very, very beautiful, very nice.
It's really a little paradise, and still undiscovered. There are many people who don't know the island, this archipelago of Bocas del Toro. Thank you very much, Annick. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, everybody.
And we'll see you tomorrow for another webinar. We are going to Italy tomorrow at 2 p.m.
Nice. Very nice. Great. Enjoy.
Thank you, Annick. And again, pleasure to have you. And we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you for having me.
Everyone. Buenas tardes.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.